All right, welcome to Wednesday. Feeling pretty good today. I had to run some errands, pick up some stuff. I picked up the screen material for the screens. I found the exact screen material from the original 1978 Airstream Argosy. I got two 30-amp breakers, one for the water heater, one for the air conditioner. And I have no idea what I'm going to do today. It's been cloudy. I'm worried about rain, so I might work on the roof. And the paint job is still not quite there yet, so unfortunately I don't think I'm gonna be able to play too much today, but I think I got to get the important stuff done. It's kind of a cloudy day, and it was actually drizzling a second ago, so I got to get these holes on the roof patched first. Doing this big one, I just drilled out that rivet, that one, start drilling this one out. And these ones are buck rivets, I guess, but they're smooth, and I got to create a divot in there to drill those out. So we'll see how it works.
So I cut a sheet of aluminum, and then I measured about 2 inches between each rivet and marked it. Then I remembered I needed to put some insulation in. I'm trying to make sure everything I do has insulation and minimizing the amount of air coming in. I got this insulation at Lowe's. It's wall insulation. It was only like 26 bucks. You get a roll. You don't have to buy so much, and you can kind of tear off a piece and make it any size you like. It's been pretty handy. So just kind of really stuffing it in there, and you don't want to do too much or it can kind of bulge. Then I put some construction adhesive around and filled any holes with construction adhesive. And then here's the sheet. I get it up and drill a central rivet to kind of hold it into place. I'm kind of trying to alternate back and forth, kind of like in an X pattern a little bit. Trying to make sure everything goes on even, and when you're working on these round edges or round surfaces, you need to make sure that you don't push it too hard so it doesn't get flat. So that was kind of halfway done there, and each of these rivets is a pain in the ass. It takes a lot of pressure, and then the end of the rivet was getting stuck in it. I had to manually push each one through. And but it took me a long time, but I was pretty happy with the result. Looks pretty good. This was my first outdoor patch I've done. They take the bigger rivets.
Well, I'm done with the first one. Strangely enough, I had exactly the amount of rivets. I was actually too short. I remembered I dropped one, and I had one in my pocket from earlier. So somehow I had exactly the amount of rivets. So I have to see if I have another box, because I got two other small patches to do. That was a big deal. That was the biggest patch I've ever done. Outdoor, put some construction adhesive underneath. Hopefully it's watertight, but I mean, it ain't perfect, but I think I got her done.
And this is after I cut the second two patches. This first piece is the piece that goes over the solar entry, so I had to cut a hole in it and put a little rubber grommet in there to keep the cables from cutting over time. You don't want it on a hard metal edge. And did the same thing here with the ruler, making it about 2 inches apart, cleaning the surface, making sure there's no grease or anything. It was kind of a misty day, so I had to really dry it off really well. I tried this scraper, but didn't really work. It was kind of just scraping the metal. Got some insulation in there, construction adhesive, and this time I put some construction adhesive real lightly around the edges also. You kind of want to do a horseshoe shape to make sure that water doesn't get down, and if it does, it drips around the side. And putting all the rivets in.
All right, I got patch 2 done. It's kind of taking me a while here. These larger rivets are kind of a pain in the ass. Well, I wouldn't call her perfect, but it's gonna work. And it actually cleaned up pretty decently. I was worried it was gonna be super scuffed and screwed up. Cool, so on to the last one. I gotta cover the solar entry area. It's a little more complicated. It's got a little grommet on it.
So same thing here, construction adhesive. And I pulled the solar wires through. Those go down into the back where the equipment's going to be. More rivets. Pretty straightforward. And there she blows.
Well, this patching is taking all day, and feels good though. It's kind of misty today, so make sure there's no moisture there. But now I'm going to attempt to attach the solar connector to the roof. Let's see if I can do it.
Actually, I wasn't going to do this today. I was a little intimidated, but I thought, what the hell? I'll read some instructions and try to figure it out. I was nervous about screwing it up, but I think it worked out good.
So I wanted you to see this. This MC4 crimp tool just crimps right over there. You just strip the wire and then put it over. This is the right one. Supposedly is they call it the male one. It looks longer, and this one's a little short. This is called the female. But see, I just put it in there, crimp it, and let's see if I can get it out now. So the bottom part goes where these little edges are, and it folds it in on itself, and then this is the round part on the bottom. So you can see it here. See how this kind of, see it folds over on itself at the top, and the bottom's just flat. So you gotta make sure you line it up there. The little pieces fold over.
This is after I connected the wires. Those little metal tips go right into those things, and then there's a nut on the back. And then this is putting some construction adhesive, some self-tapping screws to hold it down, and just making sure everything's nice and snug, watertight. And then I put some more construction adhesive around the edge and spent some time. I got some Goo Gone, used my finger, smoothed it out, put some Goo Gone on the tip of a rag, and just cleaned up the edge, made it really sharp. I always see people do this and it looks all messy, kind of goopy.
Well, I think that's it for the day. I was wanting to play with more electrical stuff, but I got all the top all done, all weatherproofed. We still have to put a coating of the white goop on the roof to waterproof everything, but that's coming soon. But it feels good to get all the outer patches done today and the solar inputs attached. It feels like kind of a big day.